December 28th. Dense fog along the Gulf and Atlantic coastal plains and interior southeast this morning is the dominating aviation impact, with IFR and locally LIFR conditions expected near many terminals through mid-morning. Patchy reductions in ceilings and visibility will also persist inland across the Carolinas and lower mid-Atlantic ahead of a sluggish frontal regime expected to evolve later today. A broad zonal flow from the central plains into the southeast supports moist, low-level return flows at many hubs, while higher pressure over the northern Rockies maintains relatively quiet conditions out west. Across the southeast and Gulf Coast, persistent low-level moisture and light winds have led to widespread dense fog development from Florida up through Georgia and into South Carolina. IFR to LIFR. Conditions dominate TAF sites early, with visibility occasionally under a quarter mile in the deepest fog inland before late morning burnoff. Coastal hubs from Tampa to Jacksonville and Savannah should anticipate slow lifts of ceilings and patchy low clouds into the late morning as diurnal mixing begins. South Florida terminals may see intermittent shallow fog redeveloping overnight. Surface ridging will weaken today, but no significant precip is expected ahead of the cold front, so the principal impacts remain ceilings and visibility. Plan extra spacing through early departures and arrivals at the Florida hubs due to these restricted VFR conditions. Robust moisture also contributes to high rip current risk along Atlantic beaches. A reminder of low-level southeasterly onshore flow. Moving north into the Carolinas, Virginia, and mid-Atlantic, a shallow warm advection regime ahead of a stalled front has maintained low stratus and patchy fog at sunrise. Expect lingering MVFR ceilings around Raleigh-Durham, Greensboro, and into Richmond, with occasional IFR visibilities near ground fog early. Winds aloft remain light, and the lack of strong synoptic forcing keeps organized rain absent this morning, but low stratus can slow climbs out of coastal and inland hubs. Temperatures are unseasonably mild ahead of the week boundary, aiding low-level moisture retention overnight. Across the northeast and mid-Atlantic, high-pressure offshore and return southerly flow allow mild conditions, but support low cloud decks and pockets of IFR at smaller fields. A warm frontal zone will slowly approach from the southwest later today. But for today's operations, the primary concern continues to be cloud ceilings and visibility, particularly in valleys and near water bodies. In the central and northern plains into the Rockies, the upper flow remains relatively stable with dry conditions dominating. VFR conditions prevail at most terminals from Denver westward. However, a broad zonal jet aloft and weak perturbations may introduce some elevated turbulence and light mountain wave activity over the higher terrain. Winds aloft at cruise levels are moderate from the west-northwest, but are not expected to produce widespread en route issues today. Out west coast and Pacific Northwest, the long-duration wet pattern continues with low clouds and occasional drizzle, tapering in the south, and ongoing atmospheric river remnants holding low ceilings into the Pacific Northwest. Expect slow lifts to MVFR, especially near Seattle and Portland, where ground fog and low clouds will persist in the marine boundary layer through mid-morning. Overall, today's operations hinge on low ceilings and reduced visibilities in the southeast and eastern U.S. This morning, transitioning to more benign VFR in many areas by midday, with underlying zonal flow limiting deep convection. A slow-moving cold front will slowly approach the southeast late tonight and into tomorrow, setting the stage for stronger winds and temperature shifts beyond today. For today's flying, anticipate restricted departure and approach conditions, where dense fog and low stratus persist, and plan to monitor terminal forecasts closely for rapid changes in ceilings through the late morning.